Hello, welcome to Business Statistics. In this lecture, I will talk about pair difference and I will use Minitab 18 to solve pair difference problems. So here is our problem. Paul has two coffee shops located within 20 miles of each other. Paul wants to compare the average daily food sales of the two coffee shops. To do so, Paul randomly selects 10 days over a 6-month period. The results are in the table below. So we have our data set in this table. So the owner wants to know if there is evidence of a difference between the average daily sales of the two restaurants, and we wanted to test it using significance level, which is alpha is equal to 0.01. So to test the hypothesis, the first thing in a pair difference is to define the difference D. So we are trying to define D. In our problem, we will do coffee shop minus coffee shop 1 minus coffee shop 2. So you can also do coffee shop 2 minus coffee shop 1. It is your choice. Okay, so let me coffee shop 2 minus coffee shop 1. So for our problem at this time, we will do coffee shop 1 minus coffee shop 2. So if we have a difference coffee shop 1 minus coffee shop 2, and we wanted to see the difference between average daily food sales, so our null hypothesis would be mu D is equal to 0, which means there is no difference between the two coffee shops, and our alternative would be mu D not equal to 0, which is there is a difference between coffee shop 1 and coffee shop 2. So one of the things, if we are solving our problem with Minitab, we wanted to look at p-value, which is if it is less than alpha, we reject H null. So let's go to our Minitab. Firstly, I will copy this data to the Minitab. So I will take this data set and then Control C, and then I will copy it to Minitab, which is Control V. So the first one is coffee shop 1, and the second data set would be coffee shop 2. So to solve a pair difference, we will go to stats and then basic stats pair T. So we will go to stat basic statistics and pair T, and then each sample is in a column. So we have each sample in a column, so we will have the same thing. So now I will click on sample 1, so I can select coffee shop 1, and then I can select coffee shop 2, and it is asking us to use a significance level of 0.01. So I will go to options. So a significance level of 0.01 means 99% confidence. So the hypothesized difference is 0, and alternative hypothesis is difference not equal to hypothesis. This is difference. So if you see, our alternative is not equal to. So that's the reason why we are selecting difference not equal to hypothesized difference. So again, here difference is mean of sample 1 minus sample 2. That is what we are doing. Our sample 1 is coffee shop 1, and our sample 2 is coffee shop 2. So we are doing sample 1 minus sample 2. So I click OK and OK here. So I get this results. So I will try to copy this into, maybe I will I might copy this whole thing into our Word document. Okay, so what this is saying is, if you look at this, a coffee shop, we have 10 data points and the mean is 6496, standard deviation is 1961, and the standard error we get is 620. For coffee shop 2, we have 10 data points. We have a mean of 7744 and standard deviation of 2059, and standard error is 651. So these are individual coffee shop statistics. And then if we do sample 1 minus sample 2, the difference is negative 1248. That means if you see, we did coffee shop 1 minus coffee shop 2, our mean is negative value. That means coffee shop 2 has larger values. And then our standard deviation of the difference is, so that is coffee shop 1 minus coffee shop 2, standard deviation is 434 and the standard error is 137. So the difference, lower bound is negative 1695 and upper bound is negative 808. So now the test, we get a p-value of 0. Again we are looking at p-value less than alpha, we reject H null. So I will highlight that. So now our p-value is 0. Is it less than our alpha value is 0.01? Is this statement true? This is a true statement. That means we will reject H null. So we will reject H null. So that means our alternative, we don't have sufficient evidence to say that both are equal. So now if you see the confidence interval of the difference, so both the values are negative. That means both the lower bound and upper bound are negative values. So if you do coffee shop 1 minus coffee shop 2, if both the values lower bound and upper bound are negative values, that means coffee shop 2 must have higher sales dollars. So that means the conclusion would be coffee shop 2 has higher, maybe I will write here, coffee shop 2 has higher sales compared to coffee shop 1. So this difference is mu1 the first coffee shop minus the second coffee shop. So if its lower bound is negative and the upper bound is negative of the difference, that means coffee shop 2 has higher sales compared to coffee shop 1. Now again they are asking us to calculate 95% confidence interval for the mean difference in restaurant sales. I can again run my Minitab with 95% confidence. So I can go to stat, basic stats, pair T, and each sample is in a column options. Here instead of 99% I will do 95%, and then click OK and OK. So now if you see, our confidence interval is maybe I will copy this one again to the word and discuss. So now if you see our confidence interval, both are still negative. That means again mu2 is higher than mu1 and p-value 0 is less than 0.05. Now our alpha would be, in this case, 0.05. So alpha is 0.05. So p-value 0 is less than alpha. Again, reject H null. So again, in this case also we can say that coffee shop 2 has higher sales value compared to coffee shop 1. If both of these values have been positive, then coffee shop 1 would have higher sales compared to coffee shop 2. And if the first value would have been negative and the second value would have been positive, then there wouldn't have been any difference. So you can look at the 95% confidence interval and any confidence interval and look for the hypothesized difference, which is 0. Does 0 lie in this? So if you ask yourself, is 0 here lie in this? 0 is not there. That means it's a null hypothesis. We reject. This concludes our lecture on paired difference using Minitab 18. Thank you.